Hi, I'm Jacob Weinstein. I'm from Buffalo, New York. I'm a sophomore and management major, and my video is on sports betting in the Supreme Court case of NCAA versus Murphy.
Sports betting is a form of gambling that entails placing a wager, also known as a bet, on the outcome of a sporting event. When trying to place a bet, you will need to go to a company that provides sports betting services. These companies are called a bookmaker or a sportsbook. The other option is to go illegally to a bookie if your state does not allow sports betting. Before you start betting on sports, you will need to know how it works. A sportsbook will give you the odds of that person or team winning. Depending on the type of sport, the odds could change in appearance. In horse racing, the odds will be given as fractions, such as 4 to 1, 15 to 1, 100 to 1, meaning if you bet $10 on 15 to 1 odds and they win, you will win $150. In team sports, such as basketball or football, the odds will be listed based off of $1 or $100. A minus preceding the number indicates the team is a favorite. A plus preceding the number indicates an underdog. For example, if the line is minus 120 for the favorite and plus 120 for the underdog, then a $12 bet on the favorite would win you $10, whereas a $10 bet on the underdog would win you $12. In the table, you can see both fractional odds and the money line odds, which are based off of 1 or 100. Also, the table shows the probability of that bet winning. Now that you know how sports betting works, you should know where it came from. The first record of sports betting dates all the way back to Greece and the Olympics, and then Rome and betting on the gladiator games. Sports betting has existed throughout history, and for the sake of United States history, we will need to go back to the 1950s. In the 50s, Las Vegas legalized sports betting, making it legitimate to the public. Las Vegas has been the capital of sports betting ever since, and today their sportsbook takes in billions in business every year. With a lot of money comes a lot of scandal. One famous sports betting scandal was the Chicago White Sox having players purposely lose the World Series to the Cincinnati Reds for money for the mob. This incident became known as the Chicago Black Sox. Another scandal was in 2007, NBA referee Tim Donaghy was caught using vital information to his advantage in bets and also selling this information to bookies. After being caught, he was sentenced to 15 months in prison and 3 years of probation. In most of the scandals back in the day, the mob would play a serious part, and the U.S. government recognized this and realized they had to do something about it. Through the 1960s and 1980s, Congress enacted various pieces of legislation aimed at stopping scandal. The most well-known legislation is the Federal Wire Act of 1961, which prohibited certain types of betting businesses and was pushed for by Robert Kennedy. However, sports betting would continue illegally despite laws passed, and in 1992, Congress came down hard on sports betting with a law called PASPA, or the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, which outlawed sports betting nationwide, excluding Oregon, Delaware, Montana, and Nevada, because they already had legal sports betting laws on their state law books. PASPA lasted for 26 years until the historic 2018 Supreme Court case of Murphy v. NCAA. This case was brought to the Supreme Court by New Jersey Governor Chris Christie because New Jersey wanted to pass a sports wagering act that went against PASPA. The Supreme Court sided with New Jersey because they stated PASPA went against the 10th Amendment and the anti-commandeering doctrine, which states that Congress can't order states to adopt a specific regulatory scheme when the federal government itself doesn't follow that. Because only 46 states were prohibited, it was not a federal standard, so therefore the Supreme Court gave the decision that all 50 states can decide themselves to allow sports betting or not. This map shows which states have legalized sports betting, who are pending legislation, and who have not done anything since the decision. Two of the biggest sports betting events are the Super Bowl and March Madness. The Super Bowl in 2018 had $4.76 billion in bets. Before the 2018 decision, 97% of these bets were placed illegally. Prop bets are the biggest generators of bets during the Super Bowl. Prop bets are bets on things such as how long the national anthem will be, if the coin toss will be heads or tails, or guessing what color the Gatorade of the winning team is when they dump it on their head coach. March Madness is also a big event for sports betting. The NCAA men's basketball tournament is a 68-team single-elimination bracket, and the first 2 days have 32 games, which are heavily bet on by the public. The future of sports betting is daily fantasy. Daily fantasy has skyrocketed since the 2018 decision and is easy to do on your phone or computer. Some of the mainstream companies are FanDuel and DraftKings. Some tips for sports betting are to 1. Set achievable objectives, meaning don't expect to win $1 million in one bet. 2. Learn the basics and be selective. 3. Don't bet on personal bias because you will lose. Trust your brain, not your heart. 4. Trust your judgment. And 5. Take regular breaks because gambling addictions are real and dangerous, so bet smartly and safe. When you bet on sports, you have the chance to win a lot of money. Some of the biggest wins that have occurred are James Aducci, who won $1,114,000 by betting $85,000 on Tiger Woods to win the Masters in 2019 on 14-1 odds. Another is Taylor Polia placed a 15-team parlay with odds of 20,000 to 1 and won $100,000. And as this MGM ticket indicates, this person won a total of $375,200 by betting on the Cardinals to win the 2011 World Series at the start of the season at 999 to 1 odds, and then during the middle of the season at 500 to 1 odds. With sports betting now legal, maybe the next person to win big will be you.